Have you ever wondered who the Buddha truly was? Was he a god, a prophet, or simply a man? Today, we begin our journey into Buddhist wisdom by exploring the life of Siddhartha Gautama, the one we call the Buddha. His story is more than a chapter in history. It is a timeless inspiration for millions seeking peace, purpose, and inner freedom. Through his life, we discover not only the roots of Buddhism, but also a universal path toward awakening, compassion, and understanding. Over 2.5 millennia ago, in the lush foothills of what is now Nepal, Siddhartha Gautama was born into royalty. His birthplace was the kingdom of Kapilavastu, where he was destined to inherit the throne. From the moment of his birth, signs and prophecies surrounded him. Wise men predicted that he would become either a great king or a great spiritual leader. Siddhartha's father, King Suddhodana, longed for his son to follow the path of power and rule, so he constructed a world of comfort and luxury for the young prince. Within the palace walls, Siddhartha was shielded from every form of suffering. He knew only beauty, youth, and pleasure. Every need was anticipated, every wish fulfilled, and every sadness kept far away. But as Siddhartha grew, so did his curiosity about the world beyond the palace gates. One day, he convinced his charioteer to take him outside. There, he encountered 4 sights that would forever change the course of his life. First, he saw an old man, frail and bent with age, a stark contrast to the perpetual youth he had known. Next, he witnessed a sick man, writhing in pain, a reminder of the body's vulnerability. Third, he came upon a lifeless corpse, the ultimate reality of death that awaits all living beings. Finally, he saw a wandering monk, serene and detached, who had renounced the world in search of spiritual truth. These encounters shattered the illusion of permanence and pleasure. Siddhartha realized that suffering, aging, and death were inescapable truths of human existence. The weight of these revelations pressed heavily on Siddhartha's heart. He could no longer find solace in the comforts of palace life, knowing they were fleeting and unable to shield him from the realities he had seen. At the age of 29, Siddhartha made a decision that would echo through the ages. In the stillness of the night, he left behind his royal robes, his beloved wife Yasodhara, and his infant son Rahula. This act, known as the Great Renunciation, was not an escape, but a courageous quest for understanding. He sought out the greatest teachers of his time, learning meditation and philosophy, and subjected himself to severe austerities. For years, he lived as a wandering ascetic, denying himself food and comfort, pushing his body to the brink in the hope that self-denial would bring enlightenment. Yet, despite his rigorous efforts, Siddhartha remained unfulfilled. He realized that neither indulgence in pleasure nor the extremes of self-torture could lead to true liberation. It was in this moment of insight that he discovered the middle way, a balanced path between excess and deprivation. The middle way would become the foundation of his teachings, offering a practical approach to spiritual awakening without the need for extreme measures. Determined to find the answer to suffering, Siddhartha journeyed to the banks of the Naranjara River, near the town of Bodh Gaya. There, beneath the sheltering branches of a Bodhi tree, he sat in deep meditation. He made a solemn vow. He would not rise until he had found the truth. Through the long hours of the night, he faced the temptations of desire, fear, and doubt. He confronted the deepest layers of his mind, observing the nature of thought, emotion, and existence itself. As dawn broke, Siddhartha experienced a profound awakening, not just from sleep, but from ignorance. He saw with perfect clarity the causes of suffering and the path to its end. In that moment, he became the Buddha, the awakened one. The insights he gained under the Bodhi tree became the core of his teaching. He articulated the 4 noble truths, that suffering exists, that suffering arises from craving and ignorance, that there is a way to end suffering, and that the path to liberation is the noble eightfold path, a guide to ethical living, mental discipline, and wisdom. These truths are not dogmas, but practical observations, inviting each person to investigate for themselves the nature of their own experience. Having attained enlightenment, the Buddha did not withdraw from the world. Instead, he dedicated the next 45 years of his life to teaching others. He traveled by foot across the plains of India, sharing his wisdom with all who would listen, kings and paupers, merchants and monks, women and men. He welcomed questions and doubts, encouraging his followers to test his teachings through their own practice and reflection. The Buddha never claimed to be a god or a supernatural being. He was a human being who had awakened to the truth, and he invited others to do the same. His message was simple yet profound. Liberation is possible for anyone willing to walk the path of mindfulness, compassion, and understanding. The legacy of the Buddha's life is not just in the temples and statues that bear his image, but in the living tradition of inquiry and kindness he inspired. His story reminds us that awakening is not reserved for a chosen few, but is within the reach of all who seek it. Even in a world full of suffering, we can choose awareness over ignorance, compassion over indifference, and peace over turmoil. The journey to awakening begins with a single step, a step toward understanding ourselves and the world around us. As we reflect on the life of Siddhartha Gautama, we see not just the story of a prince who became a sage, but the story of human potential. The Buddha's example encourages us to look within, to question, to practice, and to awaken to the possibility of a life filled with meaning and freedom. The story of the Buddha is the story of awakening, not just for him, but for us all. He showed that even in a world full of suffering, we can choose awareness, compassion, and peace. And that journey starts with just one step.